Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Gagagigo deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Izzy. And this deck is a really awesome deck because it's actually a tongue twister. And this deck is really fun to be able to play because you have so many old school cards in this deck like Gagagigo that you can summon out to the field to make some really insane plays. I've actually included a lot of cards from Duels from the Deep because Gagagigo is actually a water monster that makes it really fun to be able to play. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell and there soon come part of notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards like in your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon, along with test hands. And definitely give Izzy some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. That's a tongue twister. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Gagagigo. Gagagigo is a great 3 of the deck because it's super easy to summon off of cards like Fish Sonar and even cards like your copies of Unexpected Die. It's a great level 4 that you can put in this deck that actually comes out absolutely massive at 2,050 attack points when a Legendary Ocean is on the field. We then play 2 copies of Gagagigo, which is a really good normal summon as well that is actually a level 5 without a Legendary Ocean, but with a Legendary Ocean, you can normal summon this card without tributing because it'll bump its level down by 1, turning it into a 2650 normal summon for this deck. So this card is a really good 2 of in this build. We then play a single copy of Gagagigo, which is a really good card to summon off your copy of Fish Sonar to be able to just immediately get a 3250 attack point monster on the field when you have a Legendary Ocean. This card is actually the biggest normal monster you can summon off of Fish Sonar, so this card is a definite one of in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ocean Dragon Lord Kairyu-shin. Kairyu-shin is really good in the deck because this card with a Legendary Ocean is a level 4 and is one of the key cards of the deck because while Umi is on the field, each player can only control 1 face-up non-water monster, and if the player controls 2 or more, they must send someone to the graveyard so they only control 1. And during your main phase, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 Umi, Kairyu-shin, spell or trap card, or Sea Stealth spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, which is really awesome because you can grab cards like Kairyu-shin's Dark Reef, Sea Stealth 2, or other really powerful spells or traps off this card's effect. And this card is absolutely insane to just put on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Warrior of Atlantis. Warrior of Atlantis is really good because you can discard this card to the graveyard, like cards like Harpy Queen, to be able to discard this card to the graveyard to add a Legendary Ocean from your deck to your hand, which is a really powerful effect to be able to grab that card directly. It basically plays 6 copies of it, along with the Terraforming, it basically turns into 7, which is really cool. We then play 3 copies of Electric Jellyfish. Electric Jellyfish is an insanely powerful normal summon for the deck because it has the ability you can send an Umi from your hand or deck or face-down field to the graveyard and then special summon out a water monster from your hand. And when your opponent activates a monster effect or a spell effect while Umi is on the field, quick effect, you can negate the effect and then you can make this card gain 600 attack points. And while Legendary Ocean's on the field, this card will go up to 2200 attack points, which is really powerful for a level 4 normal summon. I then play a single copy of Doomkraken. Doomkraken is a good 1 of in the deck because it has the ability that if Umi is on the field, quick effect, you can target a water monster that you control except Doomkraken and 1 monster that your opponent controls, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, return that monster that you control to your hand, and if you do, destroy that opponent's monster. And when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, negate the attack, which is really good to have this monster in the deck because it's super easy to search and just a really good 1 of. We then play a single copy of Mega Fortress Wheel, which helps you OTK the opponent. Really easy for its first effect that if Umi is on the field, you can activate this effect that your water monsters can attack directly this turn. With cards like Fish Sonar and your copies of Kairyu-shin's Dark Reef, being able to special summon out multiple monsters to your field, this card is absolutely insane to help you OTK the opponent. And during your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, you can target 1 face-up monster that your opponent controls and destroy it. And if this card on the field is destroyed by a battle or by card effect, you can either add to your hand or special summon out a Water Warrior monster from your deck or graveyard. We then play a single copy of Maiden of the Aqua. Maiden of the Aqua is a really good one-of to summon off your copy of Kairyu-Shin's Dark Reef because it has a really neat effect that it counts as Umi while on the field, which is a great effect. This card comes in very handy if you get rid of your copy of Umi for your copy of Kairyu-Shin's Dark Reef to be able to instantly put it back on the field to make your copy of your Ocean Dragon Lord Kairyu-Shin live, which is really, really good. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Terraforming because we're trying to get to a Legendary Ocean as quickly as possible with our copies of Warrior of Atlantis and this card. We then play a single copy of Sea Stealth 2, which is a really good one in the deck that's easily searchable off your copy of Kairyu-Shin, that this card actually becomes Umi while on the field or in the graveyard, and your opponent cannot target water monsters you control with non-water monster effects. And at the start of the battle phase, you can special summon a monster from your hand or graveyard, or you can actually special summon from your hand or graveyard one monster that mentions Umi or is a water normal monster in defense position, but destroy it during the end of the battle phase, giving you a little bit of protection, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of Fury of Kairyu-Shin because this card is really nice to be able to search out with your copy of Kairyu-Shin because you can actually grab Torrential Tribute directly from your deck to your hand off this card. And if your water monsters on your side of the field would be destroyed by a card effect, you can manage to discard from your graveyard instead, giving you protection from your copy of Torrential Tribute. We then play 3 copies of a Legendary Ocean. This card is the key card of the deck because, as you know, this card's name is treated as Umi, and it reduces the level of all water monsters in both players' hands and on the field by 1, and all water monsters gain 200 attack and defense, which is really good to combo with cards like Gagagigo because it actually will make them a normal summon of a level 4 and your copies of Kairyu-Shin down to level 4 that you can then normal summon them out to the field, which is really awesome. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. We really don't care about the extra deck all that much. This card helps us get to our combo pieces as quickly as possible by just banishing any 6 cards at random from our extra, which is not that big of a deal in this build. We then play 3 copies of Unexpected Die. This card is how we summon out our copy of Gagagigo directly from our deck to our side of the field to instantly give us a monster on the field to every so often go on a copy of Bahamut Shark to summon out a totally awesome. We then play 3 copies of Fish Sonar. Fish Sonar is one of the most broken cards released out of Duels from the Deep because it has the ability to add a level 7 or lower monster from your deck to your hand that mentions Umi or is a water normal monster. Then, if Umi is on the field, you can special summon out a water normal monster from your deck, which can be your Gagagigo, to be able to special summon that card to your side of the field, which is absolutely insane because it will come out at 3150 when you have a Legendary Ocean on the field, which is absolutely crazy. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Sea Stealth Attack. I've actually put this card into this build, which I really, really like, and it has the ability, when this card is activated, you can activate an Umi from your hand or graveyard. And while Umi's on the field, this face-up card gains the following effects: that once per turn, you can banish a water monster that you control, and until the end phase of this turn, face-up spells and traps you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, even if this card leaves the field. And at the start of the damage step, if your water monster, whose original level is 5 or higher, battles an opponent's monster, destroy that opponent's monster, which is a crazy good effect. We then play 2 copies of Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute is a really good 2-of in the deck because this card can just completely board wipe the field and it's easily searchable off of Fury of Kairyu-Shin. We then play 3 copies of Kairyu-Shin's Dark Reef, which is pretty much the win con of the deck. I absolutely love this card at 3 because I always want to see it in my hand. This card has the ability to send a face-up Umi you control to the graveyard and then special summon up to 2 monsters with different names from your hand or deck that mention Umi or are water null monsters in defense position. Then, if your opponent controls a monster, then you can special summon any number of level 6 or lower water null monsters from your hand or deck. And until the end phase of the next turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except water monsters, which is totally fine because it's all we're summoning anyways. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark is a card that we're going to be making all the time in this deck when we can actually make rank 4s, because this card just detaches a material and lets us special summon out a copy of Totally Awesome, which is a really good walking negate for this deck. This card is absolutely insane, and these two paired is absolutely nuts in this deck and super easy to pull off. We then play 3 copies of number 4, Stealth Krajan. This card is a good 3 of it in the deck as well, if you don't have your copy of Kairyu-shin on the field. Because this card has the ability all face-up monsters on the field become water, which means your opponent can summon out another monster, which is a little bit of anti-synergy between them, but you're only going to summon either or onto the field at a time. But this card comes in very handy because during the main phase, quick effect, you can destroy a water monster that your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half that monster's attack it had on the field. And if this XZ summon card is destroyed, then you can special summon out Stealth Krajan spawns from your extra deck up to the number of materials this card had, and then you can attach a material to each one of them that is a water monster from your graveyard. We then play 3 copies of Stealth Krajan spawn. Stealth Krajan spawn is the card we're going to be summoning off our copy of number 4. All the time. I play this card as 3 of in the deck because we do play the copies of Pot of Extravagance in this build. We then play 3 copies of Double A Zeus. Double A Zeus is very important for the deck just in case you need to board wipe your opponent. So this card comes in very handy just in case you need to board wipe the opponent. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck was super fun to be able to build. I really love being able to include Kairyu-shin with other decks, and being able to include it with Gagagigo is just really, really cool because this card is super old school out of Dark Crisis, which is just like super, super old, but really, really amazing. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely be on the lookout for test hands for this deck coming soon. They might already be on the channel, so definitely check those out. So anyways, guys, we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.